What's going on, everybody? Heath and Ken with Hack Lab. Ken's already getting started, but as you may have seen in previous videos, we've been complaining about a coolant leak, right? And as it's starting to get colder here in the Northeast, it's starting to get worse, according to Ken. He's getting bigger and bigger puddles in his driveway now. So we think the culprit is this. Let's see if we got good focus. It's this guy right here. So this goes, Ken, where does it go again?
Between the EGR cooler and the oil cooler.
And part number for reference. Focus.
Might just be
there we go.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah. All right. Part number for reference. And we'll stick it down in the comments too. But part number for reference. So the unique thing about this setup is apparently it may have either been ripped before or serviced before, and right now there's just a rubber hose and two hose clamps on the end of it. So we're thinking that's either swelling or it's now deteriorated under the heat because it's right under the turbo. So unfortunately for us, we have to rip the entire turbo off, rip the pedestal off just to get to it. So we've already shown you the turbo process in previous videos, so we're just going to go ahead and get started and get back to you.
We're also doing a coolant flush, or oil cooler flush, backflush. So I have a problem with the coolant temp and oil temp being too far apart, so hopefully that fixes that.
Yeah, it's either we do it now or never, so we'll be back.
This orange hose here,
Hands in the way.
that orange hose here is what we're after. I guess when people do EGR deletes, sometimes the length of this changes based on the kit you use. But this looks like the OEM thing that was welded. I guess the previous owner had somebody weld the EGR from I don't know what side. I don't really know what it looks like inside, but it was welded shut. So this is the original style of clamp that came with it. That is kind of just like a pressure O-ring fit. There's an O-ring on the inside. It's supposed to be similar on the front with locking tangs on it that kind of slip over a collar. I guess it was leaking, so they put a worm clamp on the front. A while ago we tried to figure out what the coolant leak was, and we put some UV dye in it, and you can kind of see right there the back might have been leaking the UV dye.
Focus.
You got it?
All right. Yeah.
Alright, so the back might have been leaking the UV dye. The front looks pretty clean, and back there looks like some UV dye buildup, so I'm really hoping this is the problem and not head gasket dripping overnight. It looks all dry right now because all day it won't leak, but if I park it overnight and it hits like 50 outside Fahrenheit, then it'll leak. Alright, so we're going to take off this cover here, and we're going to bolt on kind of a elbow fitting.
Move the harness out of the way more. Yeah, that.
So we're going to remove that and back flush the oil cooler because we have a oil cooler problem where the oil temp is rising way above the coolant temp by about 30 degrees sometimes. So we're hoping to wash out whatever particles have precipitated out of the coolant. So that's where we're at. We got to back flush it for like 30 minutes maybe. Open the bottom hose on the radiator and let it drain out. So we'll get to that. Alright, so this right here is a CNC plate that bolts onto where that rubber hose was, and you just reuse the bolts that you took off. Has two O-rings in here, and it seals. And then this goes on. I guess this needs thread tape because it's a tapered thread. But this whole kit is what helps you back flush the oil cooler. So it screws onto here, bolts onto the block, and then you just run the garden hose through it. Probably about 30 minutes will do. I don't really know how long you should do it. Some people did like a shocking 45 minutes to an hour and had really good results. But I'll probably give it 30 minutes because I have no patience.
Where'd you get that, yo?
Just Amazon. We'll put an Amazon link. But there's many different kits. I just got this one because there's some that don't have this elbow piece. I guess maybe it makes it more difficult to do it when you have the turbo in, but I got this one for just in case we ever do it with the turbo in, which right now we're not. We took the turbo out. But it was a couple dollars more for this elbow piece in the kit, so I figured might as well just get it. That's about it. really doesn't look as hidden as it is, but this harness is making life really tough. Yeah, so if I pull back, you can see we're actually working with a lot of space. If I can focus. Oh, out of focus. Alright. So, yeah, we're actually working with some decent space. So we're going to drop one of the lower hoses. I don't know what side it's on. Well, the only lower hose on the radiator.
Passenger side.
Alright. Yeah, we're going to drop that hose and let it flush itself all over the garage floor. Whoever designed this, I hate you. I hate you for whoever designed this. Like, you couldn't just make it a little bit wider and not a point to make my intestines have to bleed? Just come on. This thing sucks right here. No, I'm not going to put a pad on it like everyone else.
Thanks, Bill. This is the setup. And we're going to give this about a half an hour, as Ken said. So
we are running at about 40 psi of city water pressure. So if you're on well water, you might want to get the kit that has the compressed air fitting on it so you can blast some air through it. But since we're on city water, it should be enough pressure, I think. But the goal is to like dislodge whatever's stuck in cooler passages. So this should be enough pressure for that.
yeah. So we will report back once it is complete. All right, disconnecting it. We're finally done.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. I made a mess of the garage.
All the white stuff you see is polishing compound from the headlights. I
Yeah.
just did something while I was bored.
Yeah, Ken didn't bust gallons. All right, what's next?
I'm gonna take off. Well, I gotta move this neck a little bit because the way I left it is right over one of the bolts.
Yeah, so we're just gonna take the neck off, and then we'll just cut back when we're ready to put this hose on. That's hopefully the holy grail, this coolant leak, and then we never have to talk about it again. And we can get through the damn winter without seeing a puddle on the ground.
And we could put good quality coolant in and leave it in.
Yeah. All right.
Alright, so these locking tabs on the inside have to be on the side, I guess. So this little cutout here, this notch has to be vertical. I guess you could have it either way. So as long as you see a notch on the top, then it should unlock it. It should be in the position where some ramps compress these little tangs here and unlocks it so you can slide it backwards. So I have to grab the rim of mine with some vice grips and try to turn it until I get that on the top, and then I should be able to push it back.
Thanks, previous tech whoever worked on this. We appreciate you.
This is the piece that the hose was connected onto. You can see the little ramps here that unlock the tabs on the inside. And when they're not in the unlocked position, they just bite on this collar here.
Focus, damn it.
So
There we go.
it looks like you have to remove this probably to get this off. I don't know if there's enough flex in this. I didn't care to try. Yeah, so this is actually on there with an O-ring on the inside. Really, really tight. For us, at least, there was a lot of corrosion, so I had to pry on it pretty good to pop it off. But when it's connected, you just pry on the back corner, so on this corner, and it pops off. We're gonna clean it up and put it all back with the new one.
All right, and there she goes. It's in. It really was pretty self-explanatory.
And it is a nice piece of engineering. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I will say,
Better than the hood latch.
Alright, what's this next piece, Captain?
Cap going on.
Alright, cap's gonna go back on. And then...
Everybody do yourself a favor and order the seals.
Yes.
Because I did not. And we're going to be back in here at some point changing the seal. And please don't hate us for using this seal. I just ran out of time and forgot to call Ford.
And for those of you who gonna throw shade, you know you've done it before too, so...
That's not silicone, it's just that swollen.
Alright, our most favorite part is coming up. Putting the heart. Well, this is really the heart, right? Right?
We'll call it the lungs.
Alright, the lung. Very good. Putting the lungs.
The heart would be the high pressure oil pump.
Alright.
Oh, hold on, wait, the pulsar swap is nice. No shaft play.
No shaft play at all.
Back in it goes.
That, once it focuses, goes there in the depths of hell. The finishing touches.
Zip ties always.
If anybody knows where we can find OEM material for all of this stuff here, let us know. I guess we never really looked for it either, right?
No, we don't look for it. And I don't think we're going to go through the trouble to replace it. It just really sucks.
Yeah, we will.
When there's nothing else in the world left. After we bleed our brakes.
Alright everybody, that's it on the project tonight. So in the coming days, maybe on Twitter I'll post an update if this thing is still leaking or not. But that's it. So leave us a comment, leave us a thumbs up, share the video for anybody that could be helpful, and check in next time.